Okay, straight up, here we go. Longshore McKnight. Glad you're with us here on a Tuesday. I am in network control. Barry is in a remote location, I
Okay.
believe, in the Crescent City of New Orleans
The Big
today.
Easy,
Yeah.
the Big NO, the city that never sleeps. New Orleans, Louisiana. Actually, technically, a little bit more in Metairie, I guess.
Yeah.
With the Marriott. I'm on the 14th floor right now of the Marriott Hotel, right outside. I was trying to get a backdrop with Lake Pontchartrain. I
Oh,
mean,
that'd
it
be
is
nice.
right at my window, and it is huge. But I couldn't get the lighting right, and it was reflecting and all that. But that's where I am this afternoon. The Troy Trojans take on the Privateers of New Orleans, basically getting a game in on the way back from Texas before heading back home.
Oh,
Cheer
boy.
up a little bit. Yeah, I have been on the road since last Wednesday afternoon. This is my fourth straight show doing it from a hotel room, and I have been gone for just about a full week, and I am ready to get back and hopefully get a win here this afternoon.
Certainly. Well, that's certainly
Whew.
first and foremost.
A lot
They're
of
going to get a big win for the
yeah,
Trojans as they head
uh,
back
yeah,
home or toward home. I guess you
yeah.
will. You were telling me something before we went on the air that I did not know, which is something that
Yes.
happens quite a bit. But UNO is, well, actually going through a name change.
Yeah, they and I didn't know that either. We show up yesterday for practice at the University of New Orleans, and I've been here before, and it was absolutely decimated by the flooding around Hurricane Katrina. I mean, it is
Mhm.
right on Lake Pontchartrain, and all those pictures you saw. I can't remember what it is now, the Fifth Ward or the Ninth Ward, because
I think it
I
was
was there.
four, but I'm not, can't
Yeah,
swear to it.
and it was absolutely just devastated with all the flooding, and that's where the University of New Orleans is. Now, it's been a little while now, and it was bad. It's gotten a lot better, but the University of New Orleans almost closed because they had a difficult time retaining students, obviously, and holding classes. And I think this is the final semester as the University of New Orleans. They're about to
Hmm.
become LSU New Orleans. There is a junior college called LSU Eunice in
Yep.
Eunice, Louisiana. Um, but this is about to be LSU New Orleans, and they're still going to have intercollegiate athletics. They don't have football, obviously. They got basketball and baseball and all that. And they're going to change their colors to purple and gold. So we'll wish them good luck with that. But yeah, afternoon game, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Then we're headed back. I will be in my home studio tomorrow, checking things. Ooh, Mariners. Anyway,
Oh, for that. Yeah.
we'll
Ooh,
have other
ooh.
stuff
Is
coming
anybody on
up.
the chat line brought that up yet? No,
I guess not.
I guess not.
Um,
Man, nobody's mentioned the Phantom lately.
yeah,
So, wow.
there's a couple of things. Way off sides, Jeff says there should be a T-shirt in the Longshore McKnight merchandise shop.
Mm,
Hint, hint. It
yeah,
says, "Where in the world is Barry McKnight?" Yeah, I'm on the road a lot.
that would be a
This,
big seller. I
yeah,
don't know if they'd be as popular as the egg salad hats that I saw last week,
so
but they might be pretty. They might be pretty popular.
the pimento hats and all that. Jeez, that's let's not get involved in any of that goofy stuff. But hey, a Longshore McKnight T-shirt,
Yeah,
Longshore McKnight hats. I've seen a hat. I've got a hat. People, way offsides. Jeff was all about hinting that.
yeah.
Um,
Barry, it's interesting you brought that up. I was playing in the Chamber of Commerce golf tournament yesterday. They have an annual event where I guess it's a good networking opportunity and get to see what's going on with businesses all around town. And they have not played in it in many, many years, but was invited to play in it and got to the fifth hole. We were out at Wind Lakes yesterday,
yeah,
and Jim Massey Cleaners and Laundry, a fine sponsor of this program, had a tent set up and some refreshments and some snacks and things of that nature, and golf towels and other little items that you could take. And Jim Massey himself had a Longshore and McKnight hat on.
Very nice.
And
very nice.
Outstanding. Way to show the support there.
I love it.
We did get kind of a sample of this merchandise.
Right.
And we have handed it out to several people, and we're seeing the reaction from it. And it seems to be very positive. So more will be on the way. So Jeff and others, you possibly could have a chance at some of that merch as we get into producing more of that for you.
Yeah. In news, what's actually going on in the world of sports, there's a couple of things I have questions about. Is this a big story? Does this really mean anything? And if so, what does it mean? The Atlanta Braves, what do we think? I mean, they are
Wait a minute. Stop you right there. The Atlanta Braves, what do we think? Period? Or you can
No.
I can stop you right there.
They're in first place in the National League East right now. Is it time to get the chop going? Do we believe in them? John from Wetumpka, can I get a judge's ruling on this?
Let me look here. Let's see here. How do I find this? Okay, the Braves are in first place. I see one game.
They ain't exactly, running away with it. They're 10-7.
Yeah, well, they're 5-5 in their last 10.
But do we begin to start to feel a little bit more Braves fever, or do you, as has been done so many times on this program, take a look everywhere else in the National League East and say 9-8, 8-8, 7-9, 7-10? Geez, they got the weakest division in Major League Baseball. Do we do that?
Yeah, let's start here. They're 10-7.
Yes.
They played 3 against the Kansas City Royals. They played 3 against the Las Vegas Athletics. 4 against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
3 against LA, not the Dodgers.
The
3
Angels.
against
got
Cleveland.
to fight with the Angels. Yeah.
Yeah. And look at here. The Marlins are on the schedule. Finally, they get a National League opponent. And who is it? The Marlins. So if Braves fans want to feel all good about themselves and all tomahawk chopping and talking about World Series, I'm talking to you, Robbie from Greenville, and John from Wetumpka, the only 2 really Braves fans that I know or I can think of. If this makes you feel good, hey, go for it. I'm with you. But when we get into the meat of the schedule and things get a little bit, more difficult, then we can talk a little bit more about it. But if this, through 17 games, if you're feeling good about yourself, hey, why not?
Yep.
Why the heck not?
Well, in deference to Bob from Pike Road, he said, "I just ran off the road. Baseball talk puts people into deep sleep." He is talk typing into his phone, which is what he said. But I'd much rather talk about how offensive linemen need to be trained to not let the defensive linemen go across their face, and that's much better. That's much compelling stuff.
The 3 technique, I think, is what they call that.
It's one of the other things that I had questions about.
Are the Braves still wearing those light blue uniforms? Or was
that's just a gimmicky kind of thing.
Yeah, gimmicky.
But the Alabama A-Day game was this past weekend, but they're still practicing.
Yeah, they have 2 more. I don't think
they're practicing
yesterday.
This week. I don't know how many, but if I was to guess, I would say they practiced yesterday. I could look it up. But what do you at Auburn? They're still practicing. Auburn's A-Day game is this weekend. It comes up on Saturday at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and a first real look at what Alex Golesh's Auburn team would look like. But should
I make a prediction? Since I did one last week, there'll be more people at the Alex Golesh A-Day game Saturday than there were at the Kalen DeBoer A-Day game 2 days ago.
That is a pretty good crowd at the Alabama A-Day game. I was pleasantly surprised.
I still haven't gotten an official number, Barry, but I think we mentioned it yesterday. There was a little scuttlebutt about the media being held hostage. Not my words, someone else's.
Yeah.
In the recruiting lounge because they didn't want them taking stats at the game. Well, why'd you even invite them? Why'd you even let them come? So, I got to get to the bottom of that. There's a little
don't count that
theory.
Don't count that, Danny.
Yeah, I don't understand what the deal is.
Big deal. You don't want to know, oh, this guy was such and such and so and so. Well, I saw some stats, unofficial stats yesterday. Keelan Russell. That leads me to believe. Is the Alabama quarterback job over? Is the competition over? Is it all from here on out just posturing and like with John's comment a moment ago, information management? Hey, guys, we know. Let's make sure. Way Offsides Jeff says practice is today, and they'll practice again Thursday. Let's make sure that Keelan Russell gets the majority of the reps in the final 2 practices, but nobody say anything about him being the starting quarterback. Is it over? Is it done? Is he the guy?
It's amazing. It seems like I'm most noted for making predictions about quarterbacks doing well in the NFL that don't live up to my expectations, and I still hear that on a regular basis. But when I do talk about some quarterbacks that I think will win jobs, it's like, poof, gone. Never said it. I don't remember it.
But I mean right now. Is it all over but the shouting?
No, you're going to hear they're in a battle. It's going to be all summer. We're going to let these guys battle it out. A couple of more scrimmages in preseason camp before the Pirates of East Carolina show up. My feeling is, as I said yesterday, that Keelan Russell will be the quarterback when it's all said and done. Now, are they going to go and let Austin Mack play the first 2 series against East Carolina, then put Keelan Russell in, and then it's over? That happened to Blake Barnett, I believe, in a game against Southern Cal in Dallas.
Remember him?
Yeah, he got in for like 3 series, and he never took another snap. So I don't know if it's going to be to that extreme, but as I said yesterday, this is Austin Mack's 4th season, and he hasn't secured a starting job. I kind of wonder about that. And, we've seen one scrimmage, and the results and the opinions were that, Keelan Russell looked really good. I kind of think that's the guy they're going to have to go with. I mean, I look at it this way. Who can you afford to lose? Austin Mack or Keelan Russell? I think you can afford to lose Austin Mack. Keelan Russell's got more time in your program.
Interesting way of looking at it, I suppose. Yeah.
But that's just kind of my feeling.
Yeah. He has had what did John say? 3 years of college football.
Yeah, you think
and he hasn't made any headway, really.
No. Barry, after 3 years of playing at Jeff Davis, I thought, I think I'm through with football. I'm done. I'm going to go to college and get an education.
Theoretically, yes. But theoretically, right.
Theoretically, yeah.
Right.
So maybe that's what Austin Mack will have to decide to do later on. But and really, Barry, I've only seen Austin Mack in some cleanup duty in the Rose Bowl against Indiana when they were down 35. But I can't think of any other. I'm sure he played in some games last year. I just don't really recall.
Yeah, because which games those were.
Yeah, nothing stood out. But no, I don't think there's a controversy. I get the feeling that most people kind of maybe they're wishing for Keelan Russell, all the accolades that he's come to Tuscaloosa with, but you got to prove it on the field. So we'll see. But that's if you're asking me, I'm kind of leaning in that direction.
I got you. A couple of other things. This happened a week or two ago. Obviously, at Auburn, there is no quarterback battle.
No.
they
The
had
next Dak Prescott. You kidding me?
They had a visit. I guess it's been almost a week, well, a couple of weeks ago now. Cam Newton came to Auburn. Takeo Spikes came to Auburn. Cam was there to film a promo at the Football Performance Center, and he worked out over there. You know, he got a bro hug and some dap with Byram Brown. But I wish they'd have compared him to Cam rather than compared him to Dak Prescott,
boy.
just because of what.
Well, no. I don't think you want that happening, Barry, because you know what happens then. This guy got 180 grand signing bonus. The guy is he riding a bicycle? Does he have a driver's license?
It was a moped, I thought.
Is there a guy?
Was the
is there a guy 4 feet behind him everywhere he walks? Yeah. You don't want that. You don't want people talking about that all summer.
But you know, he was caught on camera. Cam was at the Woltoss Football Performance Center a week ago Friday. And he's tired. He said he's tired of the losing. Oh. And he's tired of all of these guys coming onto campus and asking for money before they even do anything. He said, quote, "If they ain't about winning, they can get out of my face and go back to where they came from. I'm tired of supporting something that's not winning. Can you deliver that message to the parents, especially to the parents? Before they ask for money, we want winners. That's our resolution. We give you money, you give us wins, and if you don't, Control-Alt-Delete," is what he said out there.
It's all about the parents.
He's tired of supporting something that's not winning.
Is it true that there was a church in a rural Georgia town that got a new roof put on it about 15 years ago? Anyway,
you're right. We shouldn't have brought up Cam Newton because, you know, something about a church getting a new roof on. Not that there's anything wrong.
Yeah, wow. Cam Newton, you know, laying it down. Tired of it. Tired
of supporting something that's not winning and telling the parents, man, do what you want. I'm sure Golish was just off camera while he's having that rant with his shirt off and everything. He's going like, don't take off the parents. Don't make the parents mad. No, don't. Yeah. Don't always talk to mamas and daddies. No.
You know, Barry, you bring up Cam, and of course we're going to have this reference. Bill from Baltimore. Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, you got to give John time. You know, give him time. He can't get them all out immediately. He's got about 14 of them, and you can't just like every time you mention Cam's name. Oh, moped,
you know, I'm telling you, it's
one of church with a roof and $180,000
of the sports world. How in the world does a male tennis player at Tennessee beat out Cam Newton for the SEC Male Athlete of the Year? Something ain't right.
It's an outrage.
Something's fishy about that.
Yeah, John smells a rat.
I smell a big rat. Thank you, Bill, for bringing that back up. But does this also apply to basketball players? Cam, is it true that Pettiford, who's coming back to play basketball at Auburn's got a $4 million NIL deal?
$4 million?
There's no way.
There ain't no way.
I mean, you know, I heard that in the, you know, on the street. I'm thinking, ain't no way.
He means on his phone. But, you know, $4 million?
Actually, I heard this on the golf course yesterday.
I'm sure that NIL played a major factor in it. I'm not an idiot. No. But $4 million, I don't think so.
When I kind of looked at the guy that said it, and I went, huh? But yeah, I got to think there is some.
There's some NIL involved. There's no question about it. But you guys are throwing around $4 million like it's $4 $4.
Maybe let's just give the young man a little credit. Maybe he came back for his love for Auburn and that family atmosphere and wanting to be there.
Let's not do that. Let's not talk snide about, you know, it's all because that's happening everywhere. Everywhere. A lot of times John's position is that, you know, this is only happening in Auburn. And I'm like, what? Yeah, he's coming back. He's coming back for the money, I bet. You know, he's not, you know, let me be snide about it. That's what everybody's doing, John. Everybody.
Arguing with that. We were just, you know, Auburn, you brought up Cam, and of course I went into my Auburn mode.
He went into his hyperdrive Cam mode. Once Cam gets mentioned, Boy, then he really cranks it up, and he didn't have to have notes for it anymore.
No.
Let's take a break.
To be fair, I would assume, don't know, but I'm assuming that both Keelan Russell and Austin Mack are in Tuscaloosa because of a financial agreement. I'm not sure it's because those two young men love the capstone. And they might. I mean, It's easy to fall in love with it, believe me.
Yeah. Ryan Williams Coleman, E.J. Crowell.
Don't just be,
Wilkin. No, not Wilkin.
I don't want to say that. I don't want it to seem like I'm just, talking about Auburn all the time. I'm trying to be as even-handed as possible. And I know there's times that people go, this guy talks way too much about Auburn. Can he start talking about Alabama a little bit?
Yeah. I need to we need to take a break so I can get some Maylocks. It's our Tuesday show. John is in his home studio. I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the River region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the River region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, about 22 minutes past the hour on this Tuesday. Glad you're with us, Longshore and McKnight. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate that. Tell all your friends and associates. You can, go to Facebook, YouTube, X, Spotify, iTunes, so many other social media outlets. Just type in Longshore and McKnight in the search bar. We will pop up. Of course, Yellowhammer News, their Facebook page. A lot of people watch us there. We greatly appreciate that. You can too. You can listen in your car on your Bluetooth. So many good ways to do it, and you can do it on your schedule. We're live from 7 to 9 a.m. on the weekdays, and you can pull them up, listen, and view whenever you would like. And we really appreciate that, and certainly see the people that are doing it, the numbers that are growing. So we thank you very much for that. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. In about 7 minutes, Travis Ryer, top of hour number 2. That's kind of what we got going today.
Yeah, somebody was asking before, as a matter of fact, you mentioned our Facebook viewership, and it is big time. We did get a Facebook question earlier from Mary Emily Miles.
Okay.
She says, where can we get the ball caps? Are there any hoodies? Mary Emily, we're working on it.
Yes.
We're working on it.
Had somebody give us some, I wouldn't say samples, but some ideas for us to look
some
at.
Prototypes,
yes.
I think, is what they're saying.
So we do have some, Mary Emily. That's a pretty name.
Yep, I like that.
And we will definitely let you know, because we want people to be walking around with their swag. I'm big with the beer huggers, with our logo on it.
Oh yeah,
everybody's got to have a beer hugger.
Everybody. It's one of the things that people have noticed about me. I've been in radio my entire career. And if you're in radio, you're going to have ball caps. You're going to have T-shirts. You're going to have bottle openers, even though very few things come in, bottle caps.
Don't forget about the keychains; those were
The
popular.
keychains, and you've got to have the koozies or the huggers. John calls them a hugger. I don't know. So you got tons of that. We're looking forward to.
The evolution of a hugger, Bear. Do you remember when it was like that styrofoam thing with that plastic seal around the top?
It always fall off. Yeah,
your dad would put one in there. You go, man, that thing's kind of bulky. And then they got kind of that.
And they didn't work all that great.
That fat stuff that they made life preservers out of. Then they started making those kind of koozies. I like the ones now. They're kind of a thinner, better feel. I like the ones that you got to kind of work to get the beer into the hugger. I want it tight around that can.
Yeah, because you pick it up at the top. Yeah. The people now have figured out about beer, about koozies, whether it's for beer, soft drinks, or whatever. They have figured this out about koozies. They don't want the big bulky ones. It keeps your drink colder longer. It ain't about keeping it colder. It's about keeping your hand dry so the beer doesn't slip out of your hand and you spill about 75% of it. And you're like, and then you curse and profanity in front of the kids and all that. It's just a bad deal. They want something that you can grip and you can hold. It ain't got anything to do anymore about, this will keep my beer colder for an extra 3.5 minutes. No, you've got to get something that you can hold, that you can squeeze. That doesn't
females like koozies, with all different colors and designs and little things like that. I will say this. A couple of examples from our fine sponsor, Bama Budweiser. Michelob Ultra is one of their products. And their cans are slimmer than like a Bud Light can. Now, preferably, I don't like the slim can, but, the ladies like it. I don't know, I know it's all about marketing and advertising while the can design is different from others. It's just not my cup of tea. I like a regular, Bud Light can. That's just me. I don't know what other guys think about it. And I like Mich Ultra. Don't get me wrong. I just don't really like the can size and the feel of that can. Plus, if you don't have the right kind of
can aesthetics.
If you don't have they make huggers for those type cans, the slim can, I think they call it.
Yeah,
which is fine if you can find one of those type of huggers, but that's just me. I like my can to fit in the slot in the golf cart snugly, so it's not moving around.
That's the thing. That's the thing. That's what everybody wants anymore. That's the reason why. I remember talking. This is years ago with one of the sales associates at Stivers, and he says, it's amazing what people will look for in a vehicle and what people will ask about in a vehicle. Nobody stocks more, nobody sells more than Stivers. And I bet they can tell some stories. By and large, a lot of their customers, and he was telling me about this because I was asking about the buying experience, what's important. And he said, you can tell them all you want to about the V6 engine with the however many liters of this and, the torque and all this kind of stuff. And, they want to know, hey, what's that big screen on the front look like?
Yep.
Or, have you got bucket seats with the adjustable lumbar support? Or, like one guy, he got a Stivers vehicle, but he didn't get the one they initially showed him because he didn't like the can holders. There, the can holders weren't deep enough, or they were too deep, or something like that. People think about stuff like that, man. Golly, I can't put my beer can down. There used to be a beer distributor. I can't even tell you what it is now. A beer that used to have bottles, and they were kind of a little bit shaped like kegs, and it was a pretty cool bottle. I can't remember the name of the brand or anything. It was like, Iron City or Groisdeek or something like that. But they got rid of them because they wouldn't fit in people's
people ask how many drink holders are in this vehicle. That was important to people. I got to have 10 drink holders or whatever. Barry, do you remember we're aging ourselves yet again?
Here we go.
But when we were first driving and gas was, 60 cents a gallon, they didn't have drink holders in vehicles. And you could get these aftermarket little plastic things that you'd kind of clip into the little ridge where your window rolled up.
Right. Yes.
And you could have a drink holder that way. They were flimsy, not very sturdy, but
yeah, you'd hit us. You no matter how quick you went over or how slowly you went over a speed bump.
Yeah.
They would bounce around, and some of your soft drink would spill out of it. And you're like, got to be a better way. It'd bounce around whenever you hit, accidentally hit like the, like the warning little bumpers on the side of the road. And they're like, man, there's got to be something better.
Yeah. My brother-in-law in Atlanta, who's a big Braves fan, says the price of some of these vehicles, I definitely want cup holders. A lot of them. I'm with you. They've even got cup holders in the back of these vehicles.
Yeah. Some of them, the little flip down things and all that.
Yeah. And you got the kiddies with the little juice boxes, and they'll put the juice boxes in the cup holders and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what I would do without a cup holder. Go through a drive-through, get your Coca-Cola, whatever.
Yeah.
Boom. Right there.
Those
There
work
it goes.
great.
And you can some people put change in their cup holder. It's funny what people put in cup holders. You get in somebody else's car, and I kind of look in there, I'm going, what's with the change?
You can go to a gas station or someplace or a truck stop or something, and you can get a little cup to put in your cup holder that at the top of it has a place to put your phone.
Yeah, that's weather.
You can put your phone, an attachment to put your phone in your cup holder out there. Well, when we come back, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com will join us. Yes, you have to pay for a day. No, I don't know whether Cam Newton got paid to come to Auburn that time with all of that. We've got plenty of questions for Brian. Coming up, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. We're back at it here, about 26 minutes to the top of the hour, and our man Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, checking in as he does each and every Tuesday. Brian, hope you're doing well.
I am doing great, guys. Good to be in with y'all on this lovely Tuesday morning.
Yep, on the A-Day weekend. Let's jump right into it. We got tons of stuff to ask you about, Brian. A-Day on Saturday. What can the fans who are there, what should they be looking for? What are the things that they need to be paying special? What are you paying special attention to?
Well, first of all, your wallet's going to be thick because you don't have to pay to get in.
Whoa, wait a minute. Newsflash.
What?
Man.
Yep, free admission. I'm sure they'll have very cheap Cokes and hot dogs and all the other good stuff that you get at a football game. But that'll be good. I think it'll be an interesting 8-day game just because there's 16 new players on the field, right?
Yeah.
So who's wearing this number? Who is that? Running down there catching that pass? Who just threw the ball into the stands? You can figure those things out now. So that'll be good. And we don't know the format yet. We talked to Coach Golish here in about 4 hours or so. They're going to hold a scrimmage this morning. And we're going to talk to him over there at Jordan-Hare Stadium afterwards, and we'll get an idea of what the format is. But I expect, or I would hope, he goes 1s versus 2s, because I don't think Auburn fans want to show up in an 8-day game and watch the number 1 defense dominate the number 1 offense for however long this thing goes on. I think they want to see the offense light it up just a little bit.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you about. They got work to do. They have limited practices, limited scrimmage times, and all that. But some of the things that they're going to do that everybody does on spring game is geared towards the fans. Fans want to see Byron Brown for a long time, right? I mean, stuff like that. They're tailoring some of it to see, man, we got to do something and throw the fans a bone here, right?
Yeah, and Byron will probably be non-contact, one-hand touch or whatever. That's how it usually is with quarterbacks during an 8-day game. So they'll probably be careful with him. But yeah, you want to show that arm off. You want to show off an offense that likes to get the ball down the field and push it and get those big plays over the top. So maybe they can find ways to do that. Although Auburn's got some pretty good depth on defense. Number 2 defense is not going to be a pushover. But I think that would be the best move for them. But we'll find out here in a few hours.
I'm sure we'll ask you again next week your thoughts about this, but do you feel any different today about maybe what this fall is going to look like than you did a month ago, or do you think you need to see what happened Saturday to make that
I do feel a little
assessment?
different. I had 2 big question marks going into the spring. That was on the line of scrimmage. And I've watched the defensive line. I've talked to some people who have watched the defensive line that know a lot more than I do, and I feel a lot better about that side of the ball right now. I think the Sigler kid they got from was Arkansas State. I think he's
Cody
really
Sigler.
stepped up.
Yes.
Yep. As a defensive tackle, I think he's kind of the alpha there, a leader, a really good player. I think getting Dallas Walker back too at nose guard helps out that unit a lot, and I think they're developing some depth there. Jarrett Smith has been, probably Auburn's best pass rusher, and now a true sophomore, a really highly recruited 5-star type kid, and they've got some other people to come in like Womack and another kid to help at that defensive end position. So I feel a lot better about the talent depth of the defensive line. On the other hand, I'm still, wondering about the offensive line and kind of expecting it to be a challenge until we get closer to the season. There's just so many newcomers, 14 of them they're bringing in. It's just going to take them a while to figure things out. Plus Stanton Rammel, the Michigan State transfer who's slated, I guess, to play left tackle. We'll see has not been able to practice yet as he returns from his injury. So you're going to have to wait until this summer and fall to get him back.
What about Jeremiah Cobb? I'm only asking that because of the local angle to him. Have you heard anything about his work or workload in spring at running back?
Yeah, I don't think anybody would be surprised to know that he's had a really good spring. Always works his tail off. I think he's going to be Auburn's starter. I think the big difference for him is he's going to be surrounded by guys that can do different things, and it'll probably lessen his workload a lot. I think they really like Bryson Washington, who they brought in from Baylor. Omar Mabson, the sophomore who played last year as a true freshman. He's impressed this spring. And then you got guys like Tay Meadows from Troy, who is going to be a guy that they use in situations, right? That can be an explosive player, maybe catching the ball in the backfield on third down or maybe on special teams.
I wanted to ask you this just to get your thoughts. I think you have a unique viewpoint that is germane to our conversation, and it was a spirited conversation that John and I had.
I can't imagine that.
I am an MLS guy. I mean, I call soccer on the, I'm an LAFC guy. That's where my brother works. Getting Argentina and Iceland in this summer is it or is it not a very Lionel Messi? Is it or is it not? Stay with us, John.
Yeah,
a big deal.
I'm here.
Well, first of all, I think Lionel Messi is probably the most famous sports person in the world. You think that's fair to say, Barry? I'm trying to think. Who
I
would be
do.
better than him.
There is somebody on this television screen who wouldn't know Lionel Messi from Lionel Richie, but
he could walk in this door right now. I wouldn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Well, I'll, from an Auburn perspective, from the athletic department, this is a big deal because it's going to bring in a lot of money. And I know the tickets went on sale yesterday. And from what I'm hearing is they were really, really going fast and really hard to get. So that's a really good sign that place is going to be filled up for this event. And I think it's going to be filled up with Auburn people too, because this is because Messi does have such a big name. But I think it's also an opportunity for Auburn as we enter this world of finding ways to make more money athletically, that they're going to start using Jordan-Hare Stadium for a lot more different purposes, and this is one of them. They're not just going to bring these guys over here and, here's the stadium, here's the locker rooms. They are going to go out of their way to really support them, show them how special Auburn can be, in hopes that they can get more of these type matchups in Jordan-Hare Stadium in the coming year. So this is a really big deal for Auburn. It can bring in several $1 million to the athletic department and maybe even more in the future. There's also an NLI component in advertising that they can use too, that can add a little bit more to that pot. So I think in those respects, it is a plus.
Yeah, Brian, I think you're going to see a lot of this on college campuses, and this isn't the only, time it's going to happen. I think that there again, with revenue production, they're looking everywhere they can go to generate it. And you're right. I mean, these stadiums are just sitting there empty in the spring and summer. So why not utilize them and make them a revenue producer? So yeah, get ready because it's coming.
Yeah. Well, Texas A&M is hosting them, I think, Argentina a week before Auburn. And if you look at stadiums the size of Auburn, there's not that many that have the grass fields anymore that soccer really prefers to play on, right? Some MLS teams now play on the artificial turf, but most Premier League teams do not and do not want to. So that's big for Auburn too.
Yeah, somebody just texted me about what John just said and said, yeah, some of these stadiums do stay empty. Like, I know it's going to be empty Saturday, September 5th at Jordan-Hare Stadium. That's not fair.
Wait a minute. I did not text that.
That was not from you. That was not from you.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn, even through this 5 years of losing, has sold out Jordan-Hare. I don't know, is it 21 straight, something like that? So they deserve credit for that.
They have been there. Speaking of the stadium, any updates on the renovations and stuff, north end zone, or the proposed? For people who don't know, the north end zone at Jordan-Hare Stadium is the end zone farthest away from Plainsman Park, and it's always been kind of recessed back there behind it with a parking lot and all that for years and years and years. Is there going to be like a multi-use facility there? Is that what the proposal is? Do you know, Brian?
Yeah, we got big vision in the south end zone and medium vision in the north end zone. And what they're planning is $300 million. But of course, you finance that through bonds, right? So you're not paying a whole bunch, a month or whatever. I'm not a finance guy.
Yeah.
But it is going to be multi-purpose. We're talking about restaurants. I don't know how big a convention type space, but space for that type of, meetings and stuff, ways to have Jordan-Hare Stadium again to be used throughout the year and not just for 6 or 7, 8 home football games. So that is coming. The board is going to approve that at the next meeting, which I think is coming up either this week or next. It's pretty soon. I don't remember the exact date. But yeah, that's definitely coming. If you've seen the renderings, it looks pretty cool from the outside, right? So we don't have all the inside details and stuff, but I like what I've seen of it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I think the renderings look outstanding. I just have not been able to find an interior view, and I don't know if there was one out there. I'd love to see what the inside of it's going to look like.
I think there's one out there, but I have not seen it yet. I've just heard,
Yeah.
the bits and pieces about what it's going to include in that construction. It should be really interesting. So looking forward to it. Really,
right.
I wish I had more to share.
Let me dip in real quick on this sport with you and just get a general thought. Put into context the news that Tahad Pettiford's coming back for his junior year with Auburn men's basketball.
Well, that's getting 3 of 5 of the guys back that played, a big portion of the minutes. I don't know how that's going to compare to other teams in the SEC around the country, but I guess that's pretty good for this time of college athletics. I don't know, but I think it was important in that you're getting the guy that Auburn is known for right now, right? He's the guy that can score 20 something against anybody in the country when he's on. That they just got to build a different and better team around him. I feel like I think they need to get a point guard in to take a little pressure off him and not force him to play 35 to 40 minutes at point guard every game. Let him play some off guard too. And they need to find some more guys around him that can shoot from the outside a little bit more consistently and find some rim protection to take some of the pressure off defensively. So they've still got work to do there. But I think getting him Overton, who really came out at the end of the season as a scorer and a leader for that team, and then Sebastian Williams-Adams, who played a bunch as a freshman, and you think he's going to take a big leap from freshman to sophomore. That's what the feeling is there. I think that's a good little core to build that team around for next year.
Yeah, it's a big piece to keep. There's no doubt with Pettiford. I think that's a big one.
Had to have it.
Got to happen there. Looks like baseball's kind of picked things back up. I know the last couple of years we've been kind of, I don't know, a little down, but it seems like they've kind of found their step.
Yeah, they've won last 2 series. Won 2 out of 3 at Kentucky. We're a run short, really, or a one swing the bat short of sweeping that series this past weekend. I think the biggest thing is that you can see their hitting become a little bit more consistent. Their pitching's been outstanding. It's been 1 or 2 in the conference in most categories all season. So that gives them a chance to win just about every game against any opponent when you have pitching like that. They've just been really inconsistent at the plate. But I'm going to write a story this morning about their approach. And when I say approach, working to the middle of the field and opposite field, and not taking these heavy swing and misses and trying to drive everything down the line or over the wall or whatever. So I think they got into that funk a little bit for a while there, but working out of that, and we'll see if they can make a push. Their end of the season, like their second half of the SEC slate is really, really tough. 3 of the series are away. That's number 7 Florida, number 10 Texas A&M, number 17 Mississippi State, and then they've also got number 14 Oklahoma at home, and they close out the season against number 5 Georgia, which is hitting about 4 or 5 home runs a game. It feels like right now. So it's going to be a real challenge for this team going down the stretch. But we'll see how they're a pretty good team too.
Yeah, that Florida series is this weekend in Gainesville. Dispel the notion. They played Auburn baseball plays tonight at Plainsman Park at 6 against Alabama State. The promotion is ladies' night. That does not mean J.G. Tate's wearing a tank top. That doesn't have anything to do. He might, but that's not what the promotion
is. Cool in the Gang going to be playing?
No,
I hope so.
How about
I
that?
hope so.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. Yeah, I saw them at Six
kidding.
Flags back in 1970 something. So just to throw that out there.
That baseline, oh man, so good.
Yeah, love that as well. Brian, you wrote something at auburnsports.com. You wrote a lot of things, obviously. You always do.
Things, yeah. Every once in a while.
In the Monday Musings, talking about recruiting under Alex Golesh. Seems to be going really, really well. Can you give us a tone, and not necessarily tons of specifics, but just a tone of what the recruiting apparatus and setup and approach is, and maybe how it's different at all from what it's been recently? Or success?
Well, they're 16th in the SEC in recruiting right now, which is really, really good. That's where you want to be positioned going into May. Just kidding. They've only got 2 commitments, so that ranking's not going to really matter right now so far for Auburn. But what I have noticed and what I've been surprised about, right, because we did not know how Alex Golesh and his staff were going to recruit coming here. We felt like they're going to do certain things coaching up the team, right? But we weren't sure about recruiting. I think he's done an excellent job. I've just seen it. I've been around recruiting for a long time. They're bringing in a ton of players, top-ranked players, 5 stars, top 100 players, 4 stars, over and over again. They had a dozen here. I guess it was over the weekend. They'll probably have a bunch here today. I haven't looked. I know Jeffrey Lee's about to put up a story on that, but they continue to do that. And I know that's one of the pillars for Auburn in recruiting is getting kids on campus because Auburn, in a lot of ways, still sells itself, right? And building those relationships. Obviously, money is the most important thing now. But, even if you lose a kid because another school pays $100,000 or $200,000 more, when you have that relationship you build now with him, his parents, the people in his life that matter, a year from now, 2 years from now, when that kid gets in the portal, Auburn might be one of the first places he looks at. So really, really important what the work they're putting in right now. And I've been really impressed. It's caught me off guard a little bit. So kudos for them for the job they've done.
Yeah, that sounds like that's an interesting way to put it. I mean, just because you don't get them this go around, you're right. I mean, with the rate kids are transferring and as many times as you're doing it, could come back and pay dividends later on down the road.
That's right. And, you saw with Golish when he had this really short window to bring in players for this staff, he prioritized a lot of kids that were from this area that went out of the area to other schools, right, to come back. And that's something that will work even better, I feel like, when you've had time to build up these relationships, right? So, and that's a good strategy. Some 5-star from Alabama or from Georgia or North Florida or Mississippi might go to, out of state or somewhere else and may feel a little homesick and want to come home in a year from now. So that's always a way to just get in that door early.
Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. The spring game coming up, baseball going strong, recruiting as well. How do people get all of the inside information you guys provide?
Yep, we'll have blowout coverage of the scrimmage today. I'll be at the baseball game tonight. Probably going to be 250 beers, 125 hot dogs.
Wow,
I really wish I could take advantage of that. I really do. Especially because this is the final home midweek game of the year. And then
is that a 16-ounce beer? I mean, for 250, how much beer are we getting there?
I think it's a 12-ounce, but I don't know that for sure.
Right. Well, that way it doesn't get hot.
Yeah,
I haven't had a chance.
I can confirm $5 domestic brews. Those are 16 ounces.
There you have it.
I'm looking right now on the website.
I usually slash those to 250 for these midweek games. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we will see.
Yeah.
But all that and more, auburnsports.com, basketball portal in, and you can follow me on Twitter /X at BMattAU.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Brian,
you.
as always. Yep. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Care.
Yep. Great insight and information about what's happening at all. 250 beer? No way. For 16
better cut that off about the fifth
top?
Inning for that.
Man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Plainsman Preston, he did say that. Right now, Auburn, I mean, if you look at the ratings, auburnsports.com, Auburn 16th in the SEC in recruiting. That is correct. And he said that kind of for effect. No big deal.
There's 16 teams in the league. Wow.
Yeah, but they are, there's.
Is Brian Harsin still on this staff? 16th.
Yeah. We'll see. But I'm heard, at least they're swinging for the fences. Doesn't it sound weird for him to note, not Brian necessarily, but say, one of the big things that Auburn is bringing in, a bunch of 5-stars. That's one of the big. I'm thinking, well, why haven't they before? They brought in some, but Auburn is at least getting visits from the 5-stars. Was it that Harsin or Freeze or whomever was saying, hey, I know you're a 5-star, but would you like to visit Auburn? No?
Yeah, just come on by anyway.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good day. Or are they, really digging to get these guys? Hey, man, we really think you need
things don't work out for you. Hey, don't forget about us. Just here.
Yeah, that happens. That's a good thing. I mean, that happens at Troy, as a matter of fact, a lot of times when you lose a guy to the SEC and you say, hey, look, I get it, but man, if they ever don't treat you right, you'll always have a home here. That does happen, but get them in, I mean, you got that beautiful cheerleader that you've always wanted to ask to the prom, and she probably doesn't want to go. No, serve it up, ask her. You
got no in your pocket. You might as well.
Exactly right. Yeah.
So wait a minute. In the 30+ years, this has been going on, and now he hits us with 8A is free. I mean, that was my go-to every spring. You know, it costs $5. Then it went to
Another
10.
thing that they are doing just checks it away. Now, look, there are premium events still. The AUVIP A-Day weekend things. For instance, you can get a second half sideline pass to A-Day, experience the action up close, and enjoy the second half of the annual A-Day football game from the sidelines. Fans will be allowed on the sidelines from the beginning of the second half all the way through to the end of the game. Now, it's not available due to NCAA bylaws to anyone in the 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th grades. And all those participating in this experience must purchase the experience. You can do that. You can get a second half sideline pass to the Auburn A-Day spring game. $200. $200. You can get a Friday night Jordan Hare tour. Friday night, get an inside look at Auburn football's locker room at Jordan Hare Stadium before game day. Behind-the-scenes look at the Harbert Recruiting Center, the Auburn football game day locker room, the press box, views of the football field, and more. The tour will last about an hour. $25 to $30 per person.
Can you still eat dinner at the 50 the night before the game?
I'm looking, and I do not see that. You can bring up to 4 or 6 of your friends or family for photos at the 50-yard line inside the stadium at 10 o'clock on A-Day Saturday. You can get that photo opportunity. Group of 4, $80. A group of 6, $90. So, I mean, you still will have premium money-making events. Honestly, I had a question at the beginning about, what do you want to see? Do you want to see a lot of Byron Brown? What's it going to look like? Honestly, are they getting rid of the $5 because of John?
Well,
are they getting because I know it helped. I know it helped. Maybe not a ton, but every little bit helps, right? For years, that money went to the library or to the General Scholarship Fund or something like that. But was it just John over and over and over again saying, why are they gouging? Why did they just get rid of it? Was it just not worth it? Was it keeping the crowds down? I ain't going. I ain't spending no $5 or anything like that. Or was it just?
Take your kids and some of their friends. You're forking out $30-$40 for scrimmage.
I would think not. I would hope not. But then again, if Auburn says we're going to take one arrow out of Longshore's sling that he keeps firing at us, and it's going to be charging $5 for A-Day. But then again, they invited Cam Newton back 2 weeks ago. And that if he's back on campus, John's like, $180,000.
Yeah.
Oh, moped.
Yeah. Can his father come back on campus, or is he permanently banned?
I think that's forever. Although, just my knee-jerk reaction. I don't know. I wouldn't want to go to some place where my dad was banned. Well, if you're not, I'll come back. Yeah, I'll come back.
Yeah,
but I'm bringing my dad, and if I can't bring my father, I ain't coming back at all. So.
Gotta have pops. Hey, Range Pro, this is an interesting one. Talking about beer prices. How about this one? Best beer special all day, every day. John Hall store in Cecil, Alabama. That's right down Vaughn Road, Highway 110.
Yeah.
Has $2 bottled Budweiser 150 Bud Draft on tap at 16 ounces. It's in honor of the owner's deceased dad who loved Budweiser. Great deal. Man, Range Pro, thanks for that tip. Great beer. I'd like to also know how Range Pro's final card looked for the Masters predictions. I got a photo of it. I'm just not real sure how he actually ended up. I know he had a lot of golfers that he was high on going into the Masters. One of those not being Minwoo Lee. So obviously Range Pro knows who to pick because he did not have Minwoo Lee on his card. I did see that. I did. Ooh. It's been a tough week for the Phantom and for golf predictions.
Now, the John E. Hall store in Cecil, they actually have a website. It's not a gas station. I mean, that's what threw me when he said Bud Light on draft. I mean, they got hamburger, steak, and 2 sides on Tuesday, fried chicken and 2 sides on Thursday, and it looks pretty good. Live music and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's not like some gas station out there. It actually looks like a really nice place. I like Cecil anyway. But,
yeah.
$1.50 Bud Draft on tap, 16 ounce.
Yeah. You're right, Theodis, a potential sponsor. Yeah, I'm going to call him later today, as a matter of fact. Oh, Range Pro had Rory. Oh, way to go. Nice. Range Pro. Good for you. Fantastic.
Yeah, he was on Jimmy Fallon the other night, and Jimmy Fallon had a
you lost me right there when you said Jimmy Fallon.
I saw the clip. I didn't watch Jimmy Fallon, but I saw a clip of it.
Yeah.
Where Jimmy Fallon had Rory, and I think Roy was wearing the green jacket. And he brought back an old clip of wherever it was, Scotland, where he's from. And when he was really, really little, like 5 or 6 years old, ladies and gentlemen, we have this precocious young golfer. You say gopher? Golfer. Named Rory McIlroy. And, he's little tiny. He's like 1st or 2nd grade. And, Roy, they say that you practice chipping at your home by chipping into your mother's dryer. And they showed a video of it and everything. And they said, do you think you can do it now? And little Roy says, yeah. And so he's in there. He's chipping, like a machine into that dryer. Boom, 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 from, like 12 foot, however wide the stage is and everything. He's like a machine. So they come back live, and he says, Rory, can we do it? You and me, Rory McIlroy and Jimmy Fallon, we're going to try to chip into these dryers, these front-loading dryers, and the first 1 to 3 wins. And Rory says, well, I'm the Masters champion. It'd be very embarrassing if I lost to you, but let's do it and everything. And Jimmy's, he's hitting it into the crowd and all that kind of stuff. Rory gets up there wearing his street clothes. He chips 3 of them into the dryer, and they all, his first 3. It's a little bit different golf with those guys. Because he's about maybe 15, 18 yards away, and it ain't a huge dryer.
No, heck no.
Rory's sitting there on a piece of artificial turf, basically, in his street clothes, with I'm sure he ain't got his wedge. It's just someone that gave him. He takes 3 little chips, hits 3 of them into the dryer, game over, and they're thinking, well, that was probably a dumb move to make.
That's why he's the Masters champ,
there was zero suspense about that.
Hey, what do you say we take a quick top of the hour timeout? Travis Reier is in the green room. He will join us, Reier, on YouTube, Talking Tide, so many other topics that he deals with on his channels. Travis will join us when we return.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a 4th location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today. 669-5959. That's 669-5959. And have the
Get Truck Month deals on more than trucks at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Explorers for $13,000 off. Broncos $12,000 off. Expeditions $10,000 off. And Bronco Sports $9,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Ford Truck Month is bigger and better at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Take advantage of 0% APR on Super Duties, Lightnings, and F-150s. F-150s, 18 grand off. Super Duties, 2 grand under invoice. And Lightning, 16 grand off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. So glad you're with us. We're at wrapping up, rolling into hour number 2 on the live version of the program, and that means our man Travis Ryer. Ryer on YouTube joins us. Travis, hope you're doing well on this Tuesday.
Doing great. How are you guys?
Doing really well. First question, would you, under any circumstances, be ever sporting a salmon-colored hat that says pimento on it?
No.
No.
And as much as I love egg salad, and the egg salad specifically at Augusta National, I would not wear that hat either.
Well,
so that's enough.
Before we get into the actual golf, and it was compelling, I kind of think that, with ESPN a part of it and everything, the coverage and the experience, they've kind of forgotten a little bit what the Masters is really all about and why the people watch. It isn't all the gimmicky stuff. It isn't all the Travis Kelce's and all that. What did you think, first of all, about the coverage of it all?
I thought Wednesday through Friday was goofy. If the weekend is the original Caddyshack movie, then Wednesday through Friday was the sequel, which was absolutely abhorrent.
Horrendous.
But I did sense, and I do think this was the case, once we got to the weekend, it was more of the traditional Masters.
Yeah.
Now, you've got so many different platforms, but if you notice, Saturday, Sunday, you didn't see the Travis Kelce's or the Kevin Hart's or the celebrity entertainer types. It got back to being the Masters. So I was actually pretty thankful for that. The golf pretty much took over. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it goes next year. Do they continue to follow that format?
I don't know if ESPN is just looking for a different angle. I mean, Barry sent me a picture of Laura Rutledge interviewing some guy named The Miz. I had no clue who this guy was, and I'm thinking, this isn't the Masters. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Travis Kelce. I don't want to see all this other, stuff that they're trying to, I don't know, maybe reel in a different type of audience. I don't know who would like that type stuff, but I'm with you. I think it's a great way that you framed it, Travis. Yeah, Wednesday to Friday, forget it. But once the CBS took over and we got down to real golf, things were kind of like they used to be.
And I like the ESPN stream. I like ESPN Plus. I like Shane Bacon, Johnson Wagner, and Billy Kratzert as a trio doing golf on that platform. I think that trio may be the best trio calling golf anywhere right now. They're stuffed away over on ESPN Plus, but I thought they were a real highlight of the coverage during the week. But yeah, I mean, a big part of the Masters is the mythology, the myth of the Masters. What we used to not be able to see are the limited coverage that we got. And I love the expanded coverage, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it felt more like waste management at times than it felt like the Masters.
Travis, I don't know if you saw this, but one of the things I did like leading up to the start of the tournament, I believe it was on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, and Smiley Kaufman was walking down the fairway with JT on number 3. And it was basically just the two of them and the camera guy. You could see the patrons, lining the fairway. But Smiley was just asking JT about how he played this hole. And as they walked down the fairway, JT described the fairway bunkers. And as they got closer, he talked about where the pin position will be and what his frame of mind is based on that pin position of how aggressive he'll be. And that was something I thought, man, this is really interesting. I like hearing what these pros are having to say. I'd like to see more of it. Obviously, you're not going to see it during the tournament, but leading up to it, I thought it was really informative and kind of a neat way to get into a player's head of what he's thinking about as he walks down a hole thinking about his next shot.
Yeah, and that's great for us hardos, but there really is, back to your point earlier, there is a whole nother wave that has come that are more along the lines of randos. They're more about golf culture than they are golf. if that
Mhm.
makes any sense.
It
They're more
does.
about golf fashion. They're more about YouTube golf for sure. I mean, you look at the influencers, the YouTube golf folks, including par three driver guy,
Yep.
that are just blowing up these days. But it's sort of been broken into some different factions. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot of the YouTube golf I enjoy. But it felt like they were trying to meld those. It was a confluence that they were trying to put together of those sort of viewerships, those eyeballs. And again, I think there's events and there's venues where you should absolutely try to do that, like Waste Management, like the Cognizant, maybe that needs a boost, or maybe too late for the Cognizant, but those type of events, but not, you don't have to do that at Augusta National.
All right, let's switch gears. Is there still a quarterback competition after the Alabama A-Day game at quarterback?
I think there is. I know that Keelan was obviously very impressive on Saturday. I've said myself, going back before the spring, I just wonder how you keep a guy that dynamic, um, in terms of his playmaking ability in a quarterback centric offense. And you can talk about this being a distributor type position. It's not. I mean, you have to be elite at quarterback in this offense. And I think some of what we saw and didn't see from the run game on Saturday sort of reaffirmed that. So I still think he's difficult to keep off the field as soon as this season. But I had heard some really good things about Austin Mack through the first half of spring practice. I had heard that, Austin Mack had shown the exact kind of command and ability to make plays that they were thinking he might show. But again, in a 2-hour practice to cap spring drills that everybody has access to, when you have a guy that you already think could very well be the guy, perform like Keelan Russell did, it's going to push that narrative that it's a wrap. I don't think it is, though. I think there's still consistency to be taken into account. And the good news it's a good news situation, really, because if anything, we're learning more and more that you need two. You need two. And in an offense like this, you definitely need two. You can't have one and then go to your two and there be just a huge gulf between your one and your two. Not if you're going to sustain, the type of regular season in a 9-game SEC season now, and then potentially the playoffs. They don't hide the quarterback in this offense. So you need two that are really, really good.
Yeah.
I saw a photo as the game was wrapping up of running back E.J. Crowell leaving the field on one of those little, I don't know what you actually call them. If you have a leg injury, you kind of prop
Like a
one leg on.
scooter.
It's got wheels
Yeah.
on it, little scooter
scooter.
thing. And looking at that, I thought, wow, I mean, that looks pretty serious. Do we know what type of injury he has?
Yeah, I mean, we had heard lower extremity, maybe soft tissue issues, but I hear you. That didn't paint a picture exactly of totally insignificant. The good news is this is the time of year. The bad news is also that for a young player, this is a 14, 15 practice stretch where you were hoping to really get him up to speed in some areas where he's going to have to really show he's capable. You bring in a true freshman back and put a lot on his plate. Opposing defenses are going to check early and often to see, can he pick up an A-gap blitz?
Mm-hmm.
Can he pick up a crossfire blitz? Can we get his eyes, going the wrong way and then get to the quarterback? Pass protection in general. Yeah, we'll see with him. I thought that, a guy that you really hadn't heard much about, Trayshawn Brown, showed some nice ability later in the scrimmage. You'd say, well, it wasn't against the ones necessarily. It wasn't even against ones and twos. But he did show some ability that Alabama's backs really didn't show any of last year. And that's the ability to extend touches after the catch, after contact. And they talked about it before with you guys. They desperately need a guy like that. I think Crowell can do that too. But that was a positive in terms of the youth at the running back position.
What else? What other takeaways, either positively or negatively, did you see and you liked, or you didn't see and noted its absence, Travis?
Yeah, I still think you're going to go into even the season wondering, can they get a yard? Can they situationally at least run the football? And I think Kalen's talked about that in the last couple of days, which just reaffirms that if you're thinking they're going to transition into this 50 runs per game type of offense, that's not what it's going to be. It's going to be, can they run it when they need to and or want to? And so I don't know if we're really going to know that. I do think that if Javen James can stick at right tackle, and that allows Michael Carroll to play the right guard position, that should help you. But it's going to start up front and extend to those backs that we talked about. Neither area was nearly good enough last year. Tight ends, I think, in terms of run game, should be improved this year. But that to me is the great unknown. And then, now with the Noah Rogers situation, the injury to him on Saturday, what does that do to your top 3 or 4 in your rotation? Ryan Coleman Williams obviously is right there at the top of that list. I thought Derek Meadows, kind of showed you some things as a 6'5", 6'6" receiver. The Rodgers thing hurts because he's an outside guy for the most part.
Right.
You can move Ryan Coleman Williams around, play him inside or outside, but then you got Latier Brooks. He's an inside guy. Rico Scott, pretty much an inside guy. So it hurts you in terms of your depth, in terms of your true guys at those traditional X and Z type of positions.
Yeah, a lot of feedback we got yesterday, Travis, was centered around the offensive line. And I know there's a lot of new faces and they're trying to get the pieces together, but a lot of the viewers and listeners to this program chimed in yesterday about their, I guess, uncomfortable feeling about what they saw.
Yeah, understandable. I'm right there with them. And the thing is, though, they could have looked like 96 Nebraska or 95 Nebraska Saturday, and I'd still want to see it in the fall. That's kind of where I am with this regime. I'm all for keeping it positive, trying to stay upbeat about things, but that's basically where I am. Let's put it on tape.
I don't know if I've mentioned this when you've been on with us, but I've mentioned it a lot on this program. I can remember this time last year through the summer, former players, former SEC players that got access to Alabama's practices were raving about the offensive line. And I just remember saying, I got to see it to believe it. Yeah. I've heard it. I want to see it. It'll be interesting to if we hear some of those same type things this spring and summer leading up to the opener.
No, I think it's going to be more along the lines of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I felt the same way about the offensive line a year ago at this time. And then Caden Proctor showed up at SEC Media Days at 370 and was happy about it. And I thought, and I know he was the Jacobs blocking trophy winner in the SEC and all that. I thought he was just pretty average last season myself. I don't really subscribe to PFF, and I just know what my eyes tell me. And I thought there were times where he showed you, he flashed as a third-year player, but as a third-year player, it shouldn't be about flash. It should be about down in, down out dominance if you really are that guy. And if he really was that guy, also, I think he would be a slam dunk top 12, 15 pick in this upcoming draft, which I don't think he could go in the top 15, but he's not a slam dunk, at a position where they want to draft you. They want to draft you in the top 10 or the top 12.
Yeah.
So, I wish him all the best, but to wrap it up, I'm right there in that boat.
Anything on the basketball front? Obviously, some moving and shaking with the portal.
Yeah, sounds like Nate landed or secured a 1-year deal. I guess that's the way we refer to it nowadays, right?
Jeez.
They got a 1-year deal with Brandon Garrison, the former Kentucky product. So that gives them some size because they need it with Aiden Sherrill hitting the portal. I think he will be sort of an athletic upgrade from Aiden, which should probably show up as much as anything on the defensive end. But
Right.
they obviously have some work to do. And Aiden took steps on defense. I mean, he became more of a rim protector. So that's not to say he wasn't effective at times on that end of the floor. But yeah, it looks like they're working a long list of those portal guys, including Caden Phillips, the legacy of John David Phillips and Reagan Phillips and John Croyle. So we'll see how that goes in terms of front court depth. But a lot of this too, still hinges on Amari Allen and what he's going to do. And
Right.
he is such a big piece to all this.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Reier, it's Reier on YouTube, talking Tide, second helping, no sleep Teal, and the football talk and the golf stuff, as well as all compelling. How in the world do people find all your content?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm hiding out over at Reier on YouTube. On YouTube, you can catch me over there. It's Reier on YouTube, and then also on X at Travis Reier, TravisReier.
Any special par 3 driver guy episodes coming up we should be getting ready for? Or are you keeping that under wraps?
Those have been most of an Insta. Reier on Insta is also where you can find me.
Nice.
Those are we had one from the Plantation Club yesterday where I snuck through the service gate to join my pal, Sully, who I refer to as America's host. We've done these in Arizona with Sully. Now he's back on the East Coast. So they actually let me into the plantation. We had double birds on a par 3. Sully hit it to about 5 feet, but I hit it to about 2.5 on him.
Nice.
We were going to say goodbye to you on this episode without you bringing that up.
Oh, come on. Yeah.
We had to prompt you to do that.
It was the equivalent of a Sasquatch sighting, but it did happen. And I shocked him. I thought he might shank the 5-footer. He couldn't believe it because he's a +1. I mean, he's a 1. I'm a 16. I'm not supposed to do that. So I necked a driver, almost hold it. And that's the latest one. We'll have another one in the next day or so from Laurel Island Links in Southeast Georgia, coastal Georgia. It's a Davis Love, the 3rd design.
Oh, nice.
Do that one with our oldest, Evan Reier, my son. So that one's fun too, coming up.
So, Travis, you mentioned getting in through the service entrance. Smart move. I've done that myself. If you're really in a pinch, just tell them, hey, look, I'll meet you on the 3rd tee. Because usually the 3rd hole's kind of away from the clubhouse, and you can kind of sit in and join them. Now, you're only playing 16 holes, but hey, it's better than nothing.
That's right. And it was kind of like Caddyshack. It was Caddy Day, and it was open from noon to 12:30. Like on Monday. That's basically what my access.
Yeah.
And the gate, when I went through the gate, it didn't just fly open, when they opened the gate. It kind of creaked, like it didn't want to open.
Yeah.
But begrudgingly, it opened.
Always good to visit with you, Travis. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah,
thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Thank you so much, Travis Reier on YouTube. Check him out. So much great content there. Well, I guess it's time for a break, and we'll come back with a little daily dog, I guess.
Yes. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the river region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust. Hey folks, how often do you think about your roof? Probably not often at all. I know I didn't until I needed a roof replacement. And I call my friends at Roof Life. Whether it's roof inspections, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, Roof Life is there for you. They use the highest quality products, top quality craftsmanship, and if you're like me, your roof can be replaced in one day. So if you're in need of a roof inspection, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, get in touch with my friends at Roof Life today. You can go to roofyourlife.com. That's roofyourlife.com, or dial them up locally at 334-306-6712. That's 334-306-6712. Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a fourth location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw. Okay, yes, it is true. We've hit a little slump here with the Daily Dog, but, those things happen.
Yes.
And it's there again. It's no panic time.
No, just buckle down, crack your knuckles, and work a little harder. Maybe a call to Gracie. See what you can do to get out of this slump.
That's true. That's true. I mean, just look at the Houston Astros, Barry. They've lost 8 games in a row. How do you think they feel?
Well, I would have thought that the Houston Astros would have felt a little bit energized, a little bit motivated, because after having lost 7 in a row, the Phantom still picked them as his Phantom's daily dog yesterday in the matchup against the Mariners yesterday afternoon. We just lost John's microphone here for just a second. Or maybe I did. Who knows?
They were 1-9 on the road, losing again. And look, we're not here to make excuses.
No excuses.
But baseball is still in its infancy, even though Braves fans think they're about to win the World Series with that 13-8 record, 18-7. I don't even know what they are. So let's get off baseball.
11-7.
11-7.
So we are getting off baseball. Today is, after all, the start of the play-in series.
Correct.
In the NBA gimmick. And there are a couple of games tonight that the Phantom, the scenario at least, is one that the Phantom appreciates.
I do.
And that is, you win, you move on, you lose, you head home.
Yeah. One and done. A lot of pressure, so to speak. Now, some teams might not really want to go to postseason. That's up to them. We'll find out tonight. 2 games tonight.
Yeah.
Miami at Charlotte, Portland at Phoenix in the NBA.
Yeah, both of them, by the way, on Amazon Prime.
That's right. I'm looking at this. So, wow, most of the games throughout this are on Amazon. Okay, there's some ABC games. You're right.
Yeah.
Prime Video tonight. 6:30, Miami at Charlotte. 9 p.m., Portland at Phoenix. Now, Barry, we have turned the page in many aspects here. But in the NBA, that long, methodical regular season is over.
Yes.
Started back in, October?
And now that long, methodical postseason is upon us.
Yes, you're right. But
to make it a long, methodical postseason, you got to keep winning. You don't, you're out. But here is something, Barry, I think we need to really take a closer look at. It is a new season, so to speak. You're playing for a lot more than you were in the regular season. There's more urgency. As Joey told Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Roger Murdoch
in Airplane. My old man says you don't hustle until the playoffs. No, he's not the only person that's thought that about the NBA. They seem to turn it up a little bit when the playoffs roll around. Not this lackadaisical half-ass defense, letting guys just shoot it from anywhere.
All right, where are we tonight? We're in Milwaukee. Okay, tomorrow we'll be in Indianapolis. Let's get out there. No, they ain't playing hard.
They're
playing hard.
Now they're playing hard. They're playing a little more defense, going after that loose ball, going to get a rebound, maybe making an extra pass or two to get to the open man. And in saying now that, Barry, things get a little more defined and a little tighter. That's why we're going to go to Charlotte tonight, 6:30 Prime Video, where the Hornets are taking on the Heat, a battle of H's tonight, Heat and Hornets. Barry, we think the total in this game is a little too high at 229. We're going under 229 because we're expecting a defensive game tonight between the Hornets and the Heat. Under 229 is the Phantoms' daily dog in the NBA play-in game tonight.
All right. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Couple of things here. Again, still reeling over the news that Auburn's A-Day admission is free. I want to get to the bottom of it. Maybe it was a Golesh thing. He said, look, this is dumb. Why are we charging people to come watch us practice? We should be welcoming them with open arms or whatever. Well, it's for, the library fund or whatever. Well, heck, I'll make a donation to the library fund. Let's let everybody in for free. Maybe it's something like that. So they got that coming up Saturday, 2:00. I don't think that there's any television for it. I think that's done. But I do wonder about what the takeaways will be. Will you notice anything? There are people who are already. And by the way, this Saturday, tomorrow, we'll talk with Kyle George, the director of athletics at Troy University. T-Day is coming up this Saturday in Troy at 1:00. The third T-Day already for head coach Jared Parker. Tobias says this about the Alabama A-Day game. He says, the issue with Austin Mack is we saw Keelan Russell with our own eyes. He has to clearly be better than Keelan. Being older isn't going to cut it. He has to be demonstrably better than Keelan, which is probably the case. Okay, Austin Mack is older. Okay, I don't know, maybe a little more experience, maybe, a little steadier. But if you're the older player, and Keelan's in his second year now, it's not like he just, freshly got on campus. If you're the older player, and it's a dead heat for the job, John, you're going to go with the younger guy, right? I would go with a guy that has a chance to be there a little bit longer than you.
Yeah, what's the upside? I mean, what potential do I have of this guy being around 2-3 years?
Right.
The other one I know
that's a good point.
He's going to run out of eligibility. So, that's another reason why I think Keelan Russell will ultimately become the starter. A quarterback at Alabama. Plus, I think, I haven't seen him, but people I trust tell me he is extremely talented. So we'll see how that plays out throughout the spring and the remainder of the summer. Back to Auburn's A-Day, though, Barry, are you saying, are we going to hear Monday from people on the River Region Straw chat line or through the VIP text line or wherever? Boy, Auburn's offensive line is terrible. Oh, they are not any good. We did hear that from people after Alabama's A-Day. It'll be interesting. Or will there be a lot of giddiness and hype and high expectations? wow, man, this team looks totally different. Offense is spectacular. Byron Brown is everything he's cracked up to be. You can drop the Dak Prescott label. This guy, man, I mean, he is just Troy Aikman. You kidding me? The guy is phenomenal.
You'll hear some of that. And you and I both have heard it before. Boy, Hugh Freeze was just stealing money from us. Now we found a guy who really, and this is a big deal, this is a guy who really understands Auburn. He gets Auburn. Look for us. I'm not saying we're going to win the SEC championship or anything. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, I guess I am. I mean, Auburn coming out of nowhere. We're going to win the SEC championship. I love our offensive line. And somebody says, yeah, but doesn't that mean our defensive line was a little underwhelming? No. You'll hear a lot of that. The truth is always somewhere in between.
Yep.
But that's what we love about spring. Also, the thing about
will
spring,
we hear about Auburn's punter and kicker on Monday? We did hear about that from Bama fans.
Which in the world of Longshore was a bad thing. Well, the punter, really? That's what you got, the punter?
Man, when teams are raving about a punter, that's not good.
It's just difficult. Two things about it are difficult for me to still get a grip on. Number one, you don't have the transfer portal after spring anymore. So, if like Keelan Russell is clearly better, guess what? Austin Mack has got to wear that for a year. He's got to, that's a year of eligibility. Just, he's going to be playing mop-up duty. Same thing at Auburn. Do you have that sense of urgency thinking, man, I better win this job in the spring. Otherwise, I'm looking at a whole year of nothing.
Here, Barry, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm just throwing it out there. Austin Mack might have looked at it, and Keelan Russell for that matter, but let's just say that Keelan's going to be the starter, and Austin Mack knew that 6 months ago. But maybe Austin Mack's thinking, well, I'm going to do better and make more money here in Tuscaloosa as a backup than I would maybe going to be a starter somewhere and making less money.
That's a thing. That's a thing for a lot of people, because I've talked with players who are transferring, and their decision is, do I want to go to a Power 4 school and just be a guy and just make money, or do I want to be a star in the group of five or whatever? So, you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
There are guys who absolutely are cool with riding the bench nowadays, as long as they get that NIL money. Because, man, all right, it doesn't seem to me like Austin Mack is going to be a long-time NFL quarterback.
No.
His best chance to earn money, playing the sport he loves, life-changing money, is to be at the University of Alabama for a year, regardless of whether he plays or not. So he's thinking, well, okay, all right, so I'm practicing hard. I'm staying ready in case somebody goes down, and I'm making several $100,000. I don't know. Back in my day in college, there wasn't a college person in college making $100,000, doing anything. Even that one girl who,
making it, that's a key word. They weren't making it, but might have been receiving it.
Some guys are cool with, I ain't playing, but there ain't no other way in the world I'm going to make $200,000 in the next 12 calendar months.
No.
Besides hanging out here and going to practice and traveling to the games and all that kind of stuff. And maybe that takes away a little bit of their motivation. Not if they're, made of the right stuff, but I'm just telling you that is.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's guys out there that their camps are telling them, if they don't know it already, you're going to do better here and make more money here than you would going somewhere
anywhere else
just so you can play. And I'm with you. I don't get the sense that Austin Mack's going to be a big NFL quarterback, but who knows? Just my opinion. But, and I think that's the position, Barry. You've got to be able to do that. You've got to have a capable backup. It's like the NFL. There are a lot of guys that have made a ton of money that have not taken a ton of snaps as a quarterback in the NFL. They've just sat there, run the scout team, whatever you do during the week, go to the game. You don't even get your jersey dirty. They don't even have to wash it. But the guy's making some pretty dadgum money. Good money in that role.
Yep. You take a guy from many years ago, played at Missouri, second-team All-American quarterback, pretty good guy, Chase Daniel.
Yeah.
Chase Daniel was undrafted, signed by the old Washington Redskins in 2009. Chase Daniel played in the NFL for 14 years. I'm not sure how many starts he got in the NFL, but he played for the Saints twice.
Mm-hmm.
Played for the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Bears, and he made somewhere up along the line of like $114 million in the
Pretty
NFL.
nice. Yeah.
5 career starts. 5.
He got that NFL pension. Yeah. I mean, Jeff Rutledge did it for the New York Giants for about 15 years.
Now, you think Chase Daniel during 14 years was going to make $114 million selling insurance?
No.
Or, working in the bond market? No. That guy, people will look, you were a scrub. You didn't even start. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, thanks. Big deal, I've got a huge mansion, lovely wife, money in the bank.
McCarron was a backup for a long time in the NFL. Wow. So, Chris, the Bammer coming with some good ones, Barry. Austin Mack will follow DeBoer wherever he goes this December.
Take it to the bank. That's Bob from Pike Road, yeah.
That DeBoer's getting fired?
Well, Tobias says that Mack will end up at Michigan State with Nick Sheridan.
Huh.
That's Nick Sheridan, not Nicolette Sheridan, who was an actress back then. Very.
There's Sheridan that coached at NC State years ago.
Dick Sheridan.
Yeah,
he used to always get named anytime Auburn had an opening.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's no longer with us.
Well, how about this one? Here's Bob again. As I mentioned, the spin of Auburn's A-Day.
Yeah,
says the social media hype machine will elevate to a new high.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Are you telling me Bob from Pike Road is taking an opportunity that he created himself to diss Auburn? And he says baseball talk puts him to sleep? Here goes Bob. This is notable in one instance only. First, I'll read it for evidence in front of the jury. Bob from Pike Road says, the Auburn social media hype machine will elevate Auburn to 11-1 before the end of August. They have predicted 10-2 and 9-3 for the last 6 years. Bet the house on the Auburn hype being 11-1 in 2026. I don't agree with that, number one. Number two, Bob actually called them by name.
Yes.
It wasn't Lee County, which Bob thinks is a real rib tickler. It wasn't, that disaster on the pasture or anything. He actually called him Auburn. I think he was probably in a hurry, otherwise he wouldn't have done it.
Speaking of the hype machine, it was brought to my attention. I don't know who these young men are. I say young, well, they're younger than us. They look to be in their 30s. Some also Auburn-based, I don't think the University of the Athletic Department has anything to do with it, but some Auburn-based podcast, social media program. And they went off on a tangent, and I hadn't heard this in years. I mean, it had been a long, long time ago. I remember having this discussion with Jim Fife many years ago about the media in this state being so pro-Alabama. They actually mentioned them as the media machine. Now, you got to be careful when you use the word machine in describing the University of Alabama. Yeah.
Small M. Make that perfectly clear.
But basically saying the media bias that the preferential treatment that the Alabama athletic department gets, on and on and on and on and on. Now, I've been hearing this forever, but there has been a little period where I haven't heard that stated in a while. But I heard it, saw it, it was brought to my attention, and I asked the question today as I did 25 years ago. Who are these people? Who are these media members that just go out of their way, bend over backwards to make Alabama athletics look good? No matter what's happening, they're not going to say anything negative towards Alabama athletics. And at the same time, they're doing all they can to take a shot at Auburn. When people make these general statements, I'd like for them to tell me who they're talking about. What media member in this state is like that?
It's just hard anymore to figure out media anymore, because it's not, sports columnist for the Montgomery Advertiser or sports writer for the Birmingham News like it used to be. Look, see, here it is right here in the paper. Are
media members very known now as social media influencers? Are they trying to influence an audience to be more pro this and negative toward that?
Well, you're seeing again, the line is blurred as far as media ethics and everything like that. People who are they know where their bread is buttered. There are people out there who just absolutely love Alabama football and have never been to the University of Alabama campus ever. And, there is that, and they're playing to that. I don't worry too much about the media because we are the media. I mean, you can get your own podcast and put it out there. The University of Alabama and Auburn University have their own media people. Jeff Shearer puts out a ton of content over on the Auburn website, War Eagle Plus, and all that kind of stuff. So they can kind of control their own thing. A lot of the content that I consume is not reading the paper. It's not listening to a radio talk show. It's, all right, let's see what's over on Twitter. Let's see, what my people,
I'd like to get a definition, a modern day definition of what a media member is.
Yeah. Because you and I we were at SEC Media Days last year in Atlanta, and Radio Row ain't Radio Row anymore. It's Digital Drive, and you got all these different things, and you're thinking that guy's got his own podcast with all the cameras and all the lights and stuff like that. And you can do that now. You don't have to be hired by the advertiser or hired by the radio station or whatever anymore. So
I just think, I guess, 30 plus years ago, I guess a media member was a guy that really provided information that nowadays you can get it on your phone. And I've always considered me personally is more of an analyst. I'm just giving you my opinions of what I think is going on in the world of sports. You have your opinion. I've got mine. The audience has theirs. I'm just giving you an opinion of what I think is going on, and analyzing what I've seen. I'm not trying to tell you what the score was or things like that, because there again,
you can find that anywhere.
You can find it out on your phone. It's kind of like with recruiting visits. Back in the day, we had to tell you who was visiting where. Now,
because you wouldn't know otherwise.
Yeah, now it's all over social media.
Well, one final thought, and again, this is Bob from Pike Road. He says social media influencers want views and likes and subscribers. So saying positive things about what your audience likes helps their channel gain in recognition and dollars. That's true. But also, Bob, saying negative things about the other group probably gets you just as many. Being negative on social media is probably just as successful of an approach as being positive.
Well,
believe me.
You're driving down the highway, you're going to stop to see that train wreck. You're going to slow down. Maybe not stop completely. You're going to slow down.
How many of you look and said, wow, that was really good driving from that guy? He did a really good job.
You're driving down that same stretch of road, 10 miles down the road. Wow, look at that. 2 deer in the field. Isn't that beautiful? You ain't slowing down.
No.
Not going to do it.
No, but if somebody gets clipped, it's, hey, stay with us. More to come in just a moment. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Okay, here we are back at it, about 8 minutes or so to go here. A little technical difficulties with the topic wheel today. Might have to bring that to you tomorrow. We'll see if we get that cleared up. But it does give me an opportunity, Barry, to try to get, I guess, a modern day definition, translation. I don't know the best way to frame it. But we talked about Tahad Pettiford deciding to come back to Auburn, not going to enter the transfer portal. And, of course, I was reading up on this a little bit, getting a little bit more information. And I'll read you a little line here from Tahad's father, Travis Pettiford. He says, before entering the portal, we wanted to give Auburn a fair shot. And Auburn showed him the most love.
Yep.
Am I reading too much into that? Is showing him the most love a 2026 way of saying they provided us the most money?
later on down the piece, and I'm reading from auburnundercover.com, Nathan King and his piece about that, where he quotes Travis Pettiford. Auburn showed him the most love. Couple of paragraphs down, Travis Pettiford, and I'm quoting here, quote, Travis Pettiford told Auburn Undercover that based on what they were hearing from other programs, his son could have made some more money elsewhere. Tahad left that money on the table to stay in an Auburn uniform. He had a couple other good offers on the table, Travis said, but Stephen Pearl, Ira Bowman, and staff came in and said, we can win here. And they're building a lineup around him and continuing to showcase him.
Wow.
Now, Tahad could have played better. He was so promising last year. He had some bad shooting days and all of that. But yeah, he does have really, really, really high upside.
Well, this is a very enlightening story, Barry. And,
yes.
It's all about family. And I know it's a big, big thing there at Auburn. But staying at home, all about loyalty. The grass isn't always greener. Yep. These are things I'd like to hear from college athletes today. It's not all about the money. They showed the most love. It's awesome.
Well, the only question I thought about it was in that piece that we read. Maybe I'm wrong. But I didn't know he entered into the transfer portal.
Yeah, I think there was some talk about it.
Yeah.
Officially, I think you're right. Obviously, based on what I'm reading, programs let it be known that they would be willing to, if he did, maybe want to enter the portal.
Now, that's the one thing that jumped out at me. Look, if he goes or if he doesn't go and all that, who knows? I agree with this from Brett from Beauregard. He said, showed him the most love, paid close to the most money, and told him he would play point guard. That's probably some of the love. Hey, we'll do what you want us to do. Because if it's true, other schools offered him more based from what we were hearing. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. You're not supposed to hear from other schools or other schools' representatives or other coaching staffs if you're not in the portal. Wait a minute. Well, how are they hearing all this about he could have made more money here and there? Maybe it's an agent. And again, if the kid doesn't enter the portal, that doesn't mean the agent can't look around saying, hey, if he gets in the portal, well, what do you offer? That's just all this stuff about the portal. Well, this guy, he may enter into the portal. A lot of times, John, when they enter into the portal, they already know what they're going to do, where they're going to go, and how much they're going to get. It's not like, okay, here I am in the portal. Let's start hearing offers. No, they have heard before. A lot of guys doing the transfer portal is the very last thing. They've already, that's like the girl who says, we need to start seeing other people. According to Jeff Foxworthy, that means she's already got one pony picked out, and she is calling him from the herd.
It is over. Yeah, it is done. Well, I'm glad to see that Theotis and Bob from Pike Road have chimed in on this topic today as well.
Yeah.
Believe what you will. I've got my thoughts about it too. But when the dust settles, Auburn's got a good basketball player that they're going to have for the upcoming season.
And believe me, it happens in Alabama, whomever, do you think Brandon Garrison is going to Alabama transferring from Kentucky because he likes Tuscaloosa. Although they are closed, they are limiting access to the Strip these days. It was like way too many people after A-Day.
They've actually had some issues that they're very concerned about with people coming into Tuscaloosa
who aren't
on A-Day.
Believe me, that's what's happening with football games. Auburn, Alabama, elsewhere, people coming in who have no interest in the football game, no interest in the university. They're in there
loitering, causing trouble. Teenagers being dropped off, just like, well, what's, not the city's responsibility to entertain them. And they've had some issues with that. So they just said, forget it. Not going to happen. I've always thought, and I don't know how they could rearrange the traffic, but I've always thought the Strip should be pedestrian only. There shouldn't be any traffic on that strip anyway, but I'm not sure how they could detour the traffic from that area.
Yeah, I'm not against that because that's happening all over the place. Well, many thanks to Travis Ryer on YouTube for joining us, of course. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. Always good. Tomorrow's a big show. Kyle George, the director of athletics at Troy University, will clue us in on all the things happening on T-Day on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock, and there's a lot going on. Plus, C.J. Duncan from Yellowhammer News will join us as well.
We got a lot to go to talk about tomorrow. You're right about that. Always appreciate your involvement through our River Region Straw chat line. Email longshoremcknight@gmail.com. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. You can watch anytime during the day when it's convenient for you on just about any social media platform, Facebook, YouTube, X, Spotify, iTunes, just to name a few. Just type in Longshore and McKnight in the search bar, and we will show up.
For the first time in a week, tomorrow I'll be back home in my home studio. No more hotel rooms.
Fantastic.
It's been a long stretch here. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.